December 1998. A burnt car sits on a roadside outside Ouagadougou. 4 bodies inside.
The fire took the skin, but it could not take the truth.
One of those bodies belongs to Norbert Zongo, a journalist who spent years telling Burkina Faso what its government did not want it to hear. 2 days before he died, he told a friend the threats were precise now and they were going to kill him. He was right. I'm Amara Osei. If you're new here, welcome to Underneath Africa, where we tell the true crime stories from across the continent that never got the attention they deserved. Some are still open wounds. All of them deserve to be remembered. Today, we're heading to Burkina Faso.
Zongo was born in 1949 in Koudougou. He loved news from childhood,
Writing his own bulletins by hand off radio broadcasts. That habit developed into a career focused on exposing power. He started newspapers that investigated corruption at the highest levels of government, eventually working on L'Indépendant.
known for one thing: fearless reporting on the people running the country.
By the mid-1990s, he was investigating fraud tied to companies. In late 1997, a driver named David Ouedraogo, who worked for the president's brother François Compaoré, died in custody. Word spread that he'd been tortured after being accused of theft. Zongo picked up the story. He would not let it go. Through 1998, Zongo kept pulling the thread tighter around the presidential family. He'd been threatened before. Some said there were even attempts to poison him.
On December 11, he confided that the threats were specific now. 2 days later, he left the capital with 3 others: his brother Ernest, colleague Blaise Ilbudo, and driver Ablas Nikiema. They never made it back.
Near Sapui, their Toyota Land Cruiser was found burned on the roadside. The bodies were burnt almost beyond recognition. One rear door was covered with what appeared to be gunshot holes. Investigators later confirmed the men had been shot before the fire started. Someone wanted them unalive and wanted it to look like an accident. Zongo's death triggered protests across the country. For many, he was the only voice willing to challenge the president's inner circle. Now that voice was gone. An independent commission named 6 presidential guard members as prime suspects. One name kept surfacing: François Compaoré, the president's own brother. He was briefly charged in the Ouedraogo case, the story Zongo died investigating, but a military tribunal dropped the charges on appeal. Out of the 6 guards, one named Marcel Kafando was only indicted for Ouedraogo's death. For Zongo's murder, no one has ever been convicted.
In 2006, the case was closed with no trial and no answers.
Zongo's widow, Geneviève, kept his newspaper alive and kept demanding justice. Her younger son never knew his father. He was barely a year old when Norbert died. In 2014, Africa's top human rights court ruled that Burkina Faso had failed to properly investigate the murder, calling it a cover-up. The case reopened in 2015 after Compaoré's government finally collapsed. Former guards were arrested. Old witnesses were questioned again, but decades later, no one has been convicted for what happened on that road in Sapui. François Compaoré was arrested in France in 2017, and his extradition has been delayed in courts ever since. Norbert Zongo believed that a nation cannot be truly free if its journalists are silenced. He sacrificed his life for this belief. His newspaper continues to operate today. His name is remembered every year, in marches, in silence, in a black page held outside a courthouse that never gave his family what they came for. Buried, but not forgotten. We keep the story alive.